I graduated from Garden City High School in the year of 2023. Honestly, I was happy to start a new chapter in my life, but I knew that I would need some resources and services to help me through it, as I obviously needed some care and help to help me throughout my day. So I was interested in pursuing care in order to live on my own on campus. I have the Self-Determination Supports Program through Goodwill Industries, and I have done my fair share of hiring my own staff, and they helped me with pay, they helped me with training, they helped me with establishing a care plan for my staff, but also I needed to schedule, manage, and basically be my own HR. Yeah, my HR for all my staff, on top of being my first year as a freshman in college. So I split up my shifts by, depending on if they're students or not, I split up into like 4-hour gaps, either on the weekends, or we also have no school on Friday, so I reserve some of those days for students. But also for during the school day, finding students to help me while I'm in class is kind of challenging because they also have classes. So I reserve those spaces, like maybe 8-hour shifts for the people who are non-students.
So how do you find them?
Honestly, a lot of social media. I was putting out my flyer in like April of 2023, when of like the hours I needed and everything. I went on campus at EMU to mainly the College of Health and Human Services and said, here's my flyers, can you help me blast, email them. Also another like just parent boards. I know my mom helped me post up a parent board, and that's how I have one of my long-lasting staff members. Just, yeah. Honestly, reliability is a very big thing. Is that reliability is something that I have to definitely have in order to even go to class, in order to go to sleep, in order to go to the bathroom. That stuff. Another thing is ALO compatibility. See if we're very compatible, because if we're not compatible, we don't want to just be staring at each other, right? And then obviously kind, caring people, and that you know that they have your best interests at their heart and everything, just in case something does go wrong or whatnot. Yeah, I do have a story to tell. Thankfully, a lot of people fall into my hands, a lot of students, because my study is in the College of Health and Human Services. That's where a lot of people know me from. So I have an OT major working for me, someone who's a nursing major. I had another person who was a nursing major working for me, a special education major, who are students. They're all like freshmen, sophomore, whatnot. But I did have a person who third day work broke university policy by breaking and entering in my room while she was not on shift. And it was really surprising to me because she was a person who helped in an assisted living home and was very passionate about this job. But then we got a few red flags about her using my stuff when she wasn't supposed to, such as showering without permission. And then she, while it was like 2 hours after her shift, but she was not on shift, she ended up taking a cup from my room, and she wanted to return it. And in the process of returning it, she used my key code without permission. She used university keys without their permission. And she used my microwave and bathroom without my permission in my room. So, yeah. Obviously, I fired her, but because she broke university policy, I told you university official, which is my disability supports coordination, disability resource center, who is in charge of all. That was like housing accommodations, so it was through them. So they were like, don't worry about firing her. Don't even talk to her. This is in the university hands, which actually made my job a lot easier. Yeah.
So have you had to fire anyone?
Yes, I've had to fire 2 other people.
Was that hard for you?
Yeah, it never ever gets easier, especially as someone at the age, at that time I was 18, especially someone throughout this year going 19 who never even had a job before. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, it's a little bit of everything. Like one, I had to file a recipient rights report, and another one was kind of like I wasn't expecting what would happen, and then we're like, oh no, this happened, so we had to like obviously take action. Sometimes in fireable, like if someone does a fireable offense, it's hard because it happens so fast that you don't expect it. And in a way, I did consult like a previous, I call like a seasoned caregiver who has been she has been caregiving since COVID with another family who I had a connection with, and so I consulted her about some of her advice about like what to do, how to file a recipient rights report and everything because I didn't know how to do that. So yeah, thankfully I have a full staff schedule, and that was something that I didn't have going into my first year, so it's much easier for me to sort out in my mind and plan for around classes. And also another thing I'm really excited is that I don't need my parents to come and help me out when because before I had those gaps and I needed someone to help me out so my parents can help me out, but yeah. Honestly, I want them to know that these services exist because I know a lot of these people don't know that these services exist, or I know someone who is just taking online classes. I'm like, but the thing is that these services exist. It is possible. Another thing is start this process if you want these services like a year before you need them because I did, but still didn't have enough time. It's still lots of crunch time. And then after you're done managing and everything, it gets easier over time. You start getting a flow of things. It's still hard navigating class and staff at the same time. It's still always hard firing as well, but in a way, you get used to it. But in another way, you don't get used to it.
I have a sibling that also goes to EMU, so my mom is on the parents page, and she sent me Autumn's flyer, and I never thought I would go in for this kind of work. I never thought I was that kind of person, but my mom insisted that I get this interview with Autumn, and I did, and we meshed really well. Like, we got along really well. We had a lot of interests in common, and so I decided that I was going to go for it. And honestly, I've enjoyed every day since. I'm not a student. I do work full time as much as I can for Autumn. Normally during the school year, my average shift would be last year it was 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So I'd have to, get up, do the commute, and then get there early, wait for her to wake up, and then get her up, do morning routine, and then, eat breakfast, get to class, and just, spend the day with her. Normally we'd go to lunch, and then, but, I was on there, I was with her on the weekends too, so we'd always find something to do, hanging around, studying, so. We make each other laugh, and we love to make each other laugh. We have a lot of hobbies in common. We like to read, we like to do crafts, we like to listen to music, and we just have like a really fun time together. The most interesting part of the job, I think, would be just the variety. She is absolutely never, ever, ever boring. We're always doing something new, even if we're just like studying or like making food. We always have conversations, and we can talk forever. You have to find the right people that you mesh well with. Like, she talked about compatibility. It really is about that. You don't want to just be staring at each other. So yeah, that's what I consider the most interesting, is the conversation.
A lot of parents say that, oh, I miss them when they were little, and I do not. I like the adult. I like the college student. I went to college for behavioral science. She's going for social work, so there's a lot in common, a lot that we can talk about. And it's just kind of nice seeing what her experiences are, because she's living in a dorm and she has a college experience, and I didn't have that. I just went to school and worked. Well, I knew she wanted to go to college. I was 100% determined to make that happen. But when she's like, yeah, I'd like to live in a dorm, my first knee-jerk mom reaction was absolutely not. How are you going to not get sick? How are you going to stay safe? How are they going to, be able to lift you, be able to, meet the needs that, things that only mom and dad can do? How are we going to, just make sure there's enough hours in the day to do what you want, but do what you need. So the first thing I'm thinking, yeah, maybe community college. You're smart. You graduated school, one of the top students of your class, A average, honor student. So college is definitely a place for you. But I didn't have any idea how we would make all of this happen.
So
Basically, I reached out to other families. They guided us along the road as far as SMA with care. So kids with her diagnosis, rather than passing away early, they're living longer. They're super smart. They need something to do, rather than just sit at home and, this is what she wanted. So I reached out to other families who were already doing that. And I've heard horror stories about working with an agency that, you have a problem with some of the help. They might not be compatible with, your child, adult child, or with the family. So this just made the most sense, is if, people were going to be doing something with Autumn and caring for her, she had every right to, meet the person and choose who would be caregiving, essentially, who would be working with her. But pretty much everything she has done 100% on her own. With the help of social media, that's actually how we found most of her help. She created a flyer and just posted, her needs once we found out that this was possible. And people pretty much came to her. College students don't want, full-time, 40 hours a week. It's like they need a few hours here and there, or a weekend, or things to fit between classes. And that worked out perfect because, Autumn needed that here and there, rather than somebody from an agency who we have to work 40 hours a week and it's all or nothing. So this has just worked out perfect for her. It's a lot to balance for her as far as different staff and, different payments, hours, but she's got a handle on it. So in communication too, as a parent, you have to kind of walk the line. Like, I don't want to be all up in her business. She's 19 years old. She is an adult and she should be treated as such. But again, as a disabled adult, there's things that she just cannot do by herself. So I really have to be careful not to, overstep and cross that line. But communication is also very important, because I also don't want where she needs to feel comfortable talking with me, if she gets sick, if she gets in trouble, if she has issues, legal, physical, otherwise with her staff. She needs to feel that I'm her safe place, that she can talk to me, talk to her dad, just have some people that she can go to. Because again, she is an adult. She's only 19. It seems like we were pretty much thrown into this because we weren't really sure if this would even be possible for her. If possible, start early. Once they turn 18 years old, call Social Security Administration, see what you can do. Basically, all of this, if you have money, you can pretty much do what you need to do. It's kind of a sad fact. Most people are not at that place, nowadays, but there are agencies that you can help. One thing that really helped me is talking to other families who went ahead of me. If they can do it, why not us? And also too, with your child, be honest with them. Be honest with them about their disability from the get-go. Autumn was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy right after she turned 1. We explained to her what was going on with her body, why she needed equipment, why she needed like a surgery, a medical procedure when she was younger. So she's grown up. This is her identity. This is who she is. Yes, it is limiting, but she can also understand this is what I have to work with, so there's no surprises. So when she goes to college and when she gets to be an adult, these are the kind of services I need. She knows she's not getting any better, but this is what we have to work with. And we've seen both sides of the fence. Kids have done really well, kids that have not made it. So I think if you show all the options and present all the options for them, then they can pick and choose what's best for them. And as a mother, it's hard. Let her go. Just be your support, be your support system, and hopefully she will contact me when she needs me, which she does. But now it's not so much about help. It's more like, Mom, I bought this Squishmallow. Mom, what do you think of this pan for cooking? I'd like to go to this bar and try this non-alcoholic drink. I just want to tell you about that. So I think that's kind of the joys of a college student, because I've grown up with this disabled child, but more and more she's doing her own thing like any typical 19-year-old should be doing. So, and I'm proud of her for that.
Well, I have to admit, in the beginning I was really nervous, because up until this point where she went away to college, Mom and Dad were her primary caregivers. So it was really difficult for me to kind of wrap my head around, like, Autumn's going to have these helpers and aides with her to do, you know, pretty much all the stuff that I would do for her when she'd be with me. So part of me is like, I kind of have to like mentally prepare to like let go of doing that stuff, you know, just for the sake, you know, because she needs to kind of have her independence and kind of a little break away from mom and dad, have to learn how to have other people help her and rely on other people besides us. And I was just really nervous that, you know, she wouldn't find enough people to cover, you know, to provide the 24-hour coverage that she's going to need, or she might not be able to find people that are able to do the work, or people that are reliable, because one of the big concerns is, you know, somebody not going to show up when she's asleep at night, and the night shift person needs to go home at 7 o'clock, and the 7 a.m. person coming in just doesn't show up and leaves them in a bind type of thing. But luckily it all worked out. You know, she's managed to find a really good staff, and it just makes me super proud that she's able to be out on her own and have all these experiences. I mean, it's just life experiences and life development, you know, personal growth that everyone should have the opportunity to do. Yeah, and I'm just super proud of that.